right is 5 lights away, and Formula One goes racing on the streets of Las Vegas.
From a disastrous start, the madness in the desert definitely delivered. What a Grand Prix with so many crazy events happening. I mean, we had at some point Max Verstappen literally telling the fans to practically riot over the whole entire thing that was happening, to finishing the Grand Prix like this. We had insanely funny moments from the actual clown thing that Max is talking about with them on the stage, with also Bruce Buffer talking about Checo Perez. This moment is hilarious.
Perez!
To the outrageous overtaking that was happening on this Grand Prix. I mean, Lance diving from literally back in Sao Paulo to Las Vegas. This guy in the last couple of races has turned into Prime Senna. I don't know what's up with the guy, but he's racing like crazy. Las Vegas delivered on a new level for the race. The race always was going to have negativity around it, as does any race when it is first announced. As I'm getting more into the video, please subscribe if you haven't and you are new here. I would love that. Thank you so much. You guys mean the world. Let's get more into this video. There were so many different drivers and so many moments to be talked about. Ocon going from 16th to 4th, Lance from 19th to 5th, as I talked about, making up 10 places in the first lap. Yuki made up like 8 places in the first lap. The crazy unorthodox spin with Alonso and Carlos both kind of on this cold, icy track. Hamilton making a couple of nasty overtakes and an insane comeback. This track delivered, and in my opinion was the race of the year for many reasons. As I said, the overtaking, the drama surrounding the track, and kind of everything that was put on this pedestal. I think everybody came in with kind of the mentality that this race will suck because of the disastrous start. And this race really went from 0 to hero. That is quite literally the quote you can use for Las Vegas. It delivered on the racing aspect. Max Verstappen was a big advocate for that this racetrack will suck. And he makes a lot of good points. I hope a lot of people get a good thing out of who Max Verstappen is and what he really thinks about these kinds of grand events. To me, Las Vegas is an event that kind of deserves this whole entire ceremony that happened. I thought actually the parade was very well done. I think for this event, this is okay. Not every Formula One event has to be Silverstone, where the drivers just get into the cars and that is that. Sometimes it's okay to have an extravagant event. What do we go to Monaco for? Do we go there for the racing? If we go there for the racing, then, I mean, don't just lie to my face, because honestly, there's no overtakes there. The qualifying is electric because we love seeing the drivers that close to the walls. That is the emphasis on it, but it's not the racing. It is the spectacle. It's Monaco. It's so small. It's such an awesome place. Las Vegas, literally an oasis in the desert. It's just a huge city, nothing else surrounding it, but you see these extreme views. I mean, the pictures, the videos, it looked insane, especially seeing them on the back straight that everybody was criticizing. Now, with the cold temperatures, we did have that scary crash with Lando. He is okay, thank God, but it provided this almost equalness in racing. Ferrari was super quick and so fun to watch. Red Bull actually had a challenge. Max even taken Leclerc off on the first lap, which should have been a bigger penalty, but we'll talk about that later. Max is insane. With that chipped off wing plate, this guy is still winning the race. Leclerc was just on it the whole entire time. His overtakes and what we were able to get because of the cold literally just made it much better. You need driver confidence. These guys are built to drive in any condition. I think if you were to put snow all over the track, these guys would still make it out on the track. They are Formula One drivers. This is what they are built to do. I know that there was so much hype around the cold and the safetiness. These cars are safe and the drivers know where to take it with their limit. They're just that good. That is the 20 best drivers on the planet. That is Formula One, the pinnacle of motorsport, and it showed in the race absolutely. As I said, Max was talking about and had a lot of good quotes that I think were very well spoken from Max. This is his 11th race won in a row in North America. I mean, just absolutely absurd. The guy is on a different level. But as he talks about and as he says, to read you off this beautiful quote and something that goes along with this event and weekend. As a little kid, we grew up wanting to be a world champion. He's talking about the Formula One drivers. If the sport puts more focus on these kinds of things, which he's talking about really the event and kind of to what he called kind of being a clown on stage, and also explain more what the team is doing, try to see them, what they are achieving, what they're working for. These kinds of things I find way more important. And I agree. I actually think that this is the biggest part about Formula One. More stuff needs to be talked about on how the teams operate. The engineers, Adrian Newey being your perfect example, the CTO, so chief technical officers. Really what makes up this team. It is a team sport at the end of the day, but the drivers are the main premise for it. This is what will get people to really love the sport. I agree. I think Las Vegas is an event for itself. If it's one-off, I like it. And I think it is a one-off. We don't get this very often. I think that is the extreme awesomeness of Las Vegas. But Max makes a good point for our sport in general, how much more should be focused on the teams rather than, I guess, the entertainment value, because the entertainment comes from the racing. That is what makes Formula One. The racing in it is so electric because the cars are kind of uneven, and it makes for these overtakes just to make them even more grand than they already are. He came up with a lot of things. As I said, he talked about the fans, and that is the biggest part about how this kind of flipped the script. I talked about in my last video the whole entire $200 voucher, how this Grand Prix was just going to be bad with the whole entire cold weather and everybody kind of just being pessimistic. We had everybody thinking this was going to be the worst Grand Prix from the layout without even racing on it. So much pessimism was going into this track. Baku had the same treatment, but this is a way better Baku to me. That straight in Baku isn't long enough to make these types of overtakes. It was the perfect amount of length with the perfect amount of DRS that actually makes for a tricky overtake, but makes it fun. This race had 82 separate overtakes, making it number 2 in our 2023 season in the race of the year. Zandvoort was number 1, but those conditions were extreme, and at some point, intermediate drivers were overtaking drivers on soft, so that overtake number was extremely inflated. This was pure 82 overtakes, and I can tell you, there was probably 40 or 50 of them that were all fun to watch. I'm not just talking about regular DRS overtakes, because even with the DRS, that braking zone is so tough, and with the cold, that made for more, even crazier overtakes. But Formula One is still learning. They gotta learn with the practice. They have a current lawsuit going on because of what is happening at this Grand Prix. Is it deserved? Probably. We should not be treating these events like Thursday and Friday. That is too much. It was too scary for Carlos Sainz, even at some point saying that he didn't feel his legs. That's not cool. It cannot be getting to that point. That has to be looked into. They have to be more ready. But definitely with the fans, they should be compensated for it. And listen, it was a great weekend because the race kind of saved it. But it's important to note that the fans are what makes Formula One. We need them here, obviously. And that is what makes the sport so grand, so classy, so awesome. So being able to make the right decisions even when you're wrong is important. And that is where Formula One is learning, I think so. Because this race really provided, we need a great one in 2024. And it flipped the script on Max going from literally hating it to saying that he's so excited into 2024. So if Max can change, then I think the fans should be able to change, and they should be able to apologize to the fans and actually have some regret for what they have done, for not giving them the event, for some people that have flown out for 10 hours and not really been able to enjoy the event like other Grand Prix. I hope that they learn from this. This is a big learning experience, but what an electric race. I hope that you guys were all excited as I was. I had a big smile on my face seeing the amount of lead changes. It was genuinely so electric and so fun. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please give it a like, subscribe. It would mean the world, and peace.